Have you ever seen a tank turn into a ball of fire? What nobody tells you is that in seconds, anything can happen to the crew inside. It seems like Russian tanks are doomed the moment they're hit, and the secret lies in a fatal design flaw. The course of battles is being changed right now. What you are about to see contains real war footage from the conflict between Ukraine and Russia. It is presented strictly for documentary purposes. Have you ever noticed how Russian tanks often end up exploding right after being hit, especially in the most recent battles between Ukraine and Russia? Unlike Western tanks, these vehicles have extremely low chances of survival as soon as they become targets on the front line. Russian tanks, mainly T-72, T-80, T-90 models, and Western tanks, such as Leopard 2, Abrams Challenger 2, differ mainly in their design, that is, in the location of ammunition storage and crew protection. This makes all the difference when everything is lost. But often the explosion we see is the result of the internal protection system, which tries to avoid greater tragedies. This allows the crew to quickly abandon the battlefield, increasing their chances of survival. In Russian tanks, ammunition is generally stored inside the crew compartment, often below the tank floor, in an automatic carousel. If the tank is hit, the impact can detonate the ammunition, causing a massive explosion that is almost always fatal for those inside. In modern Western tanks, ammunition is stored in isolated compartments, separated by armored walls, blow-off panels, and automatic doors. If the ammunition explodes, the relief panels direct the explosion out of the tank, giving the crew a real chance to escape alive. Currently, with drones passing information in real time, as soon as the enemy's position is identified, tanks such as Ukraine's Abrams go into action, locate the target, and destroy enemy structures with precision, quickly changing the course of the battle. An example of this happened when two Ukrainian Leopards were driving down a road and suddenly one of them was hit by enemy fire. In the most intense offensives, vehicles like the Bradley take the lead, opening the way and providing cover with constant fire, breaking Russian resistance. It is more agile and has modern sensors to feel the battlefield. Its role is to clear the way, identify hidden enemy positions, eliminate light threats, such as missile teams and enemy soldiers, and protect the infantry during disembarkation. Right after, heavier tanks like the Abrams move in to eliminate the enemy's remaining defenses and ensure strategic advantage, all with infantry support for the troops' advance. The Abrams is extremely armored, with massive firepower to destroy other tanks and heavy fortifications. It is not as efficient at detecting and eliminating small threats or ambushes, but it is essential for breaking tougher defenses and protecting itself against direct attacks. In situations where cities are under attack, it is common to see Russian tanks trying to drive out Ukrainian forces. However, drones and Western armored vehicles change the scenario. Russian operators often end up exposing the weak points of their tanks, allowing Ukrainians to hit vulnerable areas and force the opposing troops to retreat. Clashes between classic tanks and modern Russian vehicles, such as the BTR-82A, show that even when the Russian army attacks first, the Ukrainian response is usually fast and devastating. Battlefield dominance depends not only on firepower, but also on the ability to identify and attack weaknesses in real time. The T-90M, considered Russia's most advanced tank, also faces major challenges in modern warfare. When damaged, the internal ammunition often catches fire due to design vulnerability. Ukrainian drones have been lethal when approaching open hatches and detonating explosives directly on the ammunition, quickly disabling the armored vehicle. Even with improvised reinforcements such as metal nets, additional protective plates, and electronic systems, Russian tanks remain vulnerable. Drone operators manage to drop grenades and munitions into small openings, causing fires due to ammunition that was not consumed in combat. To try to contain losses, Russia has reinforced several areas of the tanks with chains, dynamic armor, and electronic equipment. But the precision of attacks by Ukrainian drones continues to surprise, leading to the rapid destruction of armored vehicles, even when they seemed protected. Drones, due to their extreme precision, can identify weak points in the structure of tanks, such as openings, armor joints, or areas not protected by modifications. Another factor that aggravates explosions is the storage of ammunition under the tank floor. In situations of explosions by landmines, while Western tanks, such as the Leopard or Abrams, might only be displaced, Russian tanks usually turn into fireballs almost instantly. Even with visible reinforcements and apparent robustness, the tanks remain vulnerable. Attacks by Ukrainian drones, carried out from unexpected angles and with great precision, lead to the rapid destruction of vehicles, revealing that technological warfare requires constant adaptation and increasingly sophisticated solutions. The use of drones on the front line has become commonplace. Ukrainian operators pilot FPVs with precision, attacking strategic points on Russian tanks and neutralizing the enemy before there is a chance to respond. With superior tank armor being a common weak point, top-down attacks are becoming increasingly fatal. The war in Ukraine has clearly shown how modern tanks need support from drones, infantry, and electronic defense systems. Armored vehicles that advance without this support end up being easily neutralized, whether by ambushes, mines, or aerial attacks, guided by real-time information. Old Soviet models, such as the T-64, T-72, and T-80, remain in the field due to the ease of production and maintenance, both by Ukraine and Russia. However, technological adaptation makes all the difference. Instead of relying only on newly manufactured tanks, Ukraine is modernizing its current arsenal. It invests in high-precision sights, additional armor, encrypted radios, and digital control systems. These adaptations allow it to face Russia on equal terms, saving time and resources and making older tanks suitable for the challenges of modern warfare. Ukraine, after the end of the Soviet Union, inherited thousands of armored vehicles that were parked, stored, or being produced in its territory, so today it mainly operates T-64, T-72, and T-80 tanks, all Soviet but with local upgrades, and modern tanks such as Leopard 2, Challenger 2, and Abrams from Germany, the United Kingdom, and the United States. Soldiers support HQ with a sticker. It helps the channel grow, or if you want to get even closer, join the squad as an official member. For the successful operation of armored vehicles, logistics and vehicle maintenance, in turn, become central issues. Success depends on fast repair teams and supplies from different countries. For example, for Ukrainian drone manufacturing, electronic components are needed, with the largest supplier being China, Russia's partner. To circumvent this situation, Ukrainian companies and intermediaries managed to buy a wide variety of civil-use parts, which serve for military drones on the Chinese market. It is also important the ability to restore damaged tanks in a few days, even under constant risk of drone and missile attacks. To compensate for losses and maintain pressure, Russia reactivates decades-old tanks, such as the T-62 and T-55, using them in defensive positions or as infantry support. This shows that, even with technological advances, quantity is still relevant in a long conflict. The quality and training of crews are decisive. Well-trained teams react better under pressure, know how to protect the tank, and work in sync with drones and infantry. Ukrainians, defending their cities, have shown creativity and resilience to adapt and create solutions in the face of constant threats. Some Russian units, on the other hand, face logistics and coordination difficulties due to high soldier turnover and corruption problems, which hampers large-scale offensives. The conflict revealed that tanks without troop, drone, and air defense support become easy targets, and that old strategies no longer work on a modern battlefield where technology dictates the rules. Even so, tanks have not lost their importance. They are essential for breaking fortified lines, creating psychological impact, and ensuring mobility in offensive and defensive operations. The lessons of the war between Russia and Ukraine already influence tank projects worldwide. The future points to lighter, modular vehicles with drone integration, active protection systems against missiles and smart munitions, in addition to strategies based on combined operations. In the end, the tank duel on Ukrainian soil represents the clash between innovation, adaptation, and resilience. It shows that, despite technological evolution, the human factor remains central in battles, where courage decides the fate on the front lines and history continues to be written. Only for those who watched until the end, you deserve to check out our exclusive recommendation that will take your experience to the next level. It's in the pinned comment. Go check it out now.